And we're back from break. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, it started. And we're here. Welcome back to Folkwise
Hey,
Live with Micah Ling. Micah, hello.
hello.
You ready to talk a little bit about your life, your work, other things?
Correct.
Various other topics? Great.
Hell yeah.
Great.
Well, we have one thing to do before we jump into
Oh,
questions.
Daisy, you want to do it?
Do you want to do it or you want me to do it?
I can do it. I haven't done this since I haven't done
Yeah, I
this
was
in a
like, you haven't
second.
done it in a minute, so okay, maybe we'll trade off. We'll
Last
trade
time I
off this
did
week. We'll
this,
trade
last
off
time I
this week.
did this, it was at the height of Shirley making sleuth intros way too long. So I did in
Oh
two
my god,
sentences
yeah,
and then
true.
just like smiled, and Shirley was like, "You're evil." Okay. Micah, folks at home, you see me, you see Daisy, you hear Daisy's disembodied voice, and you think, man, Dom and Daisy really write all these questions themselves and no one else. And I'm here to tell you, not correct, because we have a whole team of
It is a lie.
researchers question asking enthusiasts, people with access to academic libraries mainly, who help us put together all these questions for the guest on the show every week. And we call them our intrepid, beautiful, and wise Folkwise interview sleuths. Thank
Yes,
you
that
once
they
again
are.
to the Folkwise interview sleuths for helping me and Daisy put together these questions, for making our guests look so smart and interesting.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they are. And if you hear if you Micah, chat, if you hear a question you like, something makes you laugh, don't thank me, thank the sleuths. And with that, how'd I do, Daisy?
That was really good.
Thank
I thought
you.
that was great. I
My
said thank
intro
you
needs
all.
more
Oh, need more
pizzazz. I think it's got plenty of
I
pizzazz
thought that
and
was
is a
pretty
manageable length,
pizzazz.
Shirley,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah.
uh, Micah, you want to talk a little bit about folklore?
Yeah,
Hey, let's start with a big
why
one, and
not?
then we can get increasingly more specific.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you might be able to talk a lot about, but what is the role of gender dress in old time music, especially among queer performers?
Well, that is an AFS paper I have not yet written. No, that's true. That's true.
How many of these
However,
questions have just been like, "Oh yeah, this is my AFS paper"? Huh.
um, so yes, that's my dissertation topic with a chapter of it being about queerness and queer gender performance and material culture. But there's not a lot that has been published or written, and at least in folklore studies, about the intersection of music and material culture as like things that require each other to function.
Mm.
Um, Aside from like maybe kind of like historical ethnomusicology, like cataloging of instrument types or things like that. Um, so as a person who plays old time music and thinks a lot about dress and material culture and self presentation and presentation as belonging, I thought, like, okay, let's use a community that I know already and talk about this thing that I'm interested in and that I know others are interested in because I've been talking to them about it before I had even started grad school, just as a, friend topic of conversation. Um, so I would definitely say there's not one role. I think there are many roles of dress in any subcultural group or cultural group. Um, but kind of some of my main like angles into it are thinking about um, dress as a form of communicative competence, which is often more talked about in verbal folklore
Mm.
narrative. Um, but if we think about material culture as communication just as much as spoken things or sung things are, I just happen to be looking at it in the old time music scene, but you could look at it in any music scene or any, community. Um, so yeah, I think I've asked a lot of my, interlocutors, collaborators, like, what did you wear the first time that you went to an event in this music scene, and how did that change for you over time as you understood the aesthetics of the community, as you became a more accepted performer of the music? as you became more respected for your like skill or your sonic contributions or your repertoire, um, did you feel like you had to present in a certain way if that was a way that was connected to your assumed gender or your assumed sexuality? Um, and like who was that pressure coming from? Was it internal? Was it generational pressure? Was it um what is that like jokey quote, like tradition is baggage from dead people,
The
or
peer pressure
peer
from
pressure
dead
from dead,
people.
yeah, peer pressure from dead people. Like, is that part of it? I've been looking a lot at historical images of old time musicians, like documented by song catchers and collectors of the music in like the early part of the 20th century, and comparing them to like the way that we present ourselves now in print as well.
That's cool.
Because there's really distinct parallels, like the rise of tintype photography or wet plate photography in contemporary music performance, which I think kind of allows us to draw like an arc from ourselves to a historical past for a music that is situated in tradition and is very much alive and active, and like new tunes are being written and being played. I was at the Appalachian String Band Festival in Clifftop, West Virginia in the early part of the month, and definitely like I played tunes that were written in the last 5 years, like in jams that other people also knew. Like I wasn't just like, check out this tune I wrote, like let's play it, but it'd be like, this one from this record of this rad band, like you do you know it? Yeah, I know it. So it's very much like an active scene, and but also we're playing tunes that have no source, that we don't know where they came from, or we're
Mhm.
playing tunes from people who've been dead for 100 years. So I think that there's this kind of like historical, this is another kind of narrative literary thing that I've been borrowing as I kind of theorize through this, which is the concept of historical imagination, which is more often used to think about like the way that you would stage Jane Austen or something like that, like taking a literary work that has description but isn't necessarily like meant to be visual, um, and adapting it. So I've been thinking about the way that we as performers of that music imagine ourselves in the history of it, or place ourselves in the timeline through what we put on our bodies, especially when we're on stage and when we're around outsiders, what they think that we should be wearing, if we owe them anything um, in our presentation, if we're trying to communicate what we want them to expect to receive from us or not, if you want to subvert that. So I think when it comes to like queerness and gender presentation, the subversion can come in the form of like dressing in a gender that is not the assumed gender that people have for you, whether that's because you also don't feel the gender that is being put upon you, or if it's because you're just trying to fuck with people's expectations and like do whatever the fuck you want. Or it can come in the form of like protest garb. Like a friend of mine, Jake Blunt, won the banjo contest at that same festival I mentioned earlier, wearing like super tight hot pink tank top that said legalize gay, you know. And like this festival is one that attracts like people from all over. It's not one of the ones that's kind of like like mostly people from the area, so the audience is a little bit different from that. There's definitely some people who are um, having like very political campsite decoration that you might not see at like a hyper local festival. Um, but still, like he's making a distinct choice. He's not going up there in like overalls or like pearl snap button shirt or something like that. He's like wearing hot pink like crop top or something. Um, so that's kind of like the like longish answer. I think it facilitates like a connection to history. It communicates understanding of aesthetics um and your own uh self analysis of your gender and your expression of that gender. Um and and then this kind of outsider insider question of like how are you a believable, not just communicative competence between each other, but also like, am I a believable representative of this genre for someone who doesn't know what it's about through what I'm wearing?
That was a good answer.
Thank you.
Can I ask kind of like a
Terrifying.
tangential? Oh. Well, they're only getting less terrifying from here. Can I ask a tangent about this that I thought of in the middle of that?
Please.
How did you
Please.
pick what you wore for the stream today?
Good question. I you know, some of these things are like practical, like what is clean? What is a clean
Yeah.
garment? And the same with like dressing for a festival. It's like it's 95 degrees and it's 85% humidity. Like you're
Exactly.
not, and it's dirty. Like you're not gonna wear your like silk 1950s like dress there. Um, so I definitely often have some sort of button down men's shirt on that is like a pretty, I've been told, iconic Micah garment or
I'd
like
say so.
regularly seen.
I think that's probably true.
I'd
Yeah.
say so.
Yeah, I'm often wearing like
Like an
some sort of
overshirt,
like
yeah.
like an overshirt or and like maybe a leather boot with a maybe a more like femme thing underneath that. And so that for me is a balancing force
Mm.
because I know I have very long hair. I like to wear lip makeup. I like to wear like large earrings sometimes.
Mm.
But it helps me. I'm also like the child of an electrician, and I'm like handy in like a gritty Midwestern like dirt bag. So like that for me, it balances
Hell
the kind
yeah.
of like
That's my reference.
like halfway high femme presentation or super feminine presentation with like something that is also important to my family. Like we wear Carhartt, like not like for utility. We wear it because
Before it
it's
was cool.
necessary, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah.
You can
So
change the tire, and it is definitely a 2-syllable word, tire.
yeah, tire.
Tire.
So yeah, this is often as soon as it's cool enough to be wearing some sort of like button down. I love a layered outfit. And I mean, I'm sometimes a caricature of myself. Like I'm wearing gingham and talking about old time music and like, come on, that's a little on the nose. Um, so
Maybe why I
yeah,
wore
I
a
mean,
gingham shirt to work and changed before the stream. I was like, oh, come on.
yeah. So yeah, I think I went to a music store today and was hanging out with musician friends, and
Oh, yeah?
that's probably part of it. But I think also at this point in my life, my like festival or like music dress has very much absorbed and bled into what I would wear ordinarily
Mm.
also.
How do you anticipate my thought process like that? Of course.
We've known each other for a minute.
That's true. This is where I admit that I threw on my Lil Bub t-shirt for a fellow Blooming.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was gonna say you always dress like for the guests, and
I always dress for the
Perfect.
guests. I don't know if people have picked up on that, but I
Perfect.
always
yeah,
do be
don't
dressing
always
for the
dress
guests.
for the guys.
Yeah.
I don't. Sorry, not sorry.
I think it's great. I actually I never met Lil Bub, but I did go and track some like background vocals on a friend's record at Russian Recording where he lived.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that at the time, and then was like, oh,
I could have
that's
seen
the
the
same.
bub. I was on the spaceship.
Surely you
Yeah.
can't be in the chat makes a, I think, helpful comment.
Mm-hmm.
Performance outfits are always so intricate to the performance to them. It gives a sense of context as to how the performer's approaching the work in a way. That's what I said.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like it makes if you dress like you on stage, that tells you a lot about how you see yourself in relation to that
What
performance.
if you dress like Micah
Right.
and you're in a punk band, you know?
Right. Good point. Yeah, there's not that much difference between what I wear when I play in like indie rock bands and when I play old time music. Or like indie folk bands. But yeah, there's definitely people that I've talked to who are like, I don't want to be perceived. Like I want the only thing you're taking away from me to be the sound coming out of my body or out of my instrument through my body.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
And
wow, that interesting.
yeah, and I think that the more people who have said that have been men, and I think some of them have also acknowledged that like that's a positionality thing, right? Like
Mhm.
that they are able to make that choice, whereas like people perceived to be women often are being like viewed more with more scrutiny or something like that.
Mhm.
So the invisibility option doesn't really
Sure.
exist in the same way.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, there are people who are kind of like, no, I don't want to look fancy. I just want to like roll out of bed and like ripped jeans and t-shirt and like
Mhm.
get on the stage, and like maybe that does say something about their music or it says something
Yeah.
about their approach to it. And then others who are like, it's my responsibility. Someone has paid money to watch me, and that means they're watching me.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I
They came to
I
see a
was
show.
Or I mean, or there's another area of I just want to be someone else on stage and be myself in another space.
totally
Mhm.
right. Yes, I
Mhm.
get, and that other space might be private from the public eye,
Yeah,
so you
Yeah.
may never even get to know
you
what
may
I
not even
wear when I'm
know.
like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
does Marilyn Manson wear to do the dishes, you know? Like
Something goth, probably.
yeah,
No, you
maybe,
know.
or maybe he's like, you know, rocking a like Lil Bo Peep dress. We don't know. It could be literally anything.
Quick, our artists in the chat, draw that, please.
He's from
I'm
Cleveland, right?
commissioning.
I'd like to see him in a
Yeah, he's from.
Cleveland Browns jersey.
No, I think he's like from Akron. I don't think
Well, he's from
really,
Northeast
but-
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah. Maybe it's like 90s jeans and a like baseball jersey.
Yeah.
You
Oh my
it could
god.
really
Yeah.
I'm picturing like,
God.
yeah, what does Kendrick Lamar wear
right.
to mow the lawn?
Yeah.
Totally. What is like, and some of these people you're like, well, they don't. Like I was gonna be like, what does
True, yeah.
Beyonce wear to pick up the kids from preschool?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
she
She
doesn't do
doesn't.
that.
Yeah.
My god, that's like Prince on Arsenio Hall, and someone asked him like, "What's the one
Yeah.
chore you still do?" And he like just laughed at that answer, at that question.
Yeah. It's my kind of coup research moment so far was I had a friend connect me with Gillian Welch, and I got to interview her and speak to
Ooh.
her, which was like the coolest moment of my
Oh,
life ever,
she's your
maybe.
Joey Chestnut, huh? Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually got that one. He was in Lansing recently. There was an olive burger eating contest, and he came to it.
Oh, perfect.
I
Olive
think he ate
burger.
like 13 in 5 minutes.
Holy shit.
Only
Death
five?
Wars is going
That's-
wild in the chat.
Oh yeah, people freaking
Yeah,
out that you
Lansing.
dropped that little Welch bomb there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. But she had a lot to say specifically about that like responsibility component of like,
Mm.
no, I will never go on stage in jeans, and like when I have like my normal like stage dress that's kind of similar to my home dress, or I have like the like Western wear nudie suit that's like a sacred garment.
Yeah.
That's what I wear when I really need to like,
Ooh.
you know, heightened whatever breakthrough into
Damn.
performance
Sense.
moment or something. So yeah, there's
God,
definitely a lot of different takes.
we could literally just talk about the Western wear nudie suit for the rest of the
Honestly, we could.
That's sacred garment.
Yeah, I've got questions now.
And I'm just thinking about in the 90s how Mike Mills from REM started wearing those ironically for like 2 years. It's all he
Yeah.
wore on stage, like ironically.
Yeah.
Damn, what a rock star move.
Post Malone has been wearing them a lot
Yes.
lately too. There's like
Wow, because
a
it's
whole thing.
in a different section. It's not the sacred garment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. But maybe it is, maybe there is something in them that's like the same thing as like Lil Nas X doing the like country,
The
Old
Fringe.
Town Road
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it's like
Big
I'm part of
fringe,
this.
always-
Like
yeah.
this is part of me in a
Mhm.
way, because people have been wearing those forever. And Nudie Cohen started out as like a burlesque wear designer too. So like there's like that is wide reaching as well. The kind of like where does the glitz and glam start from
Mhm.
and who owns it? Nobody.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you like thumbing your nose at the tradition it comes from, or are you celebrating it and letting it do its thing for you in the same way it did its thing for the other people that kind of it made
Yeah.
them, the the gold Elvis suit or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The gold on the suit. Yeah.
Mike, I have to ask you about other questions, even though I just want to do this all night. Damn.
Yeah.
This
is a good one. This is a good one.
But this is a good one. Okay, Micah, pivoting a little. You've worked for two different state folklorists. Marcia McDowell, Michigan, John Kay, Indiana. What's the most valuable thing you learned from either of them?
That's a good question.
Thank you, sleuths.
Sleuths.
Wow.
I remember, like, yeah, thanks, sleuths. I remember very early on in my, like, field work, like, interviewing learning time, Marcia told me to pretend I was, wait, oh my gosh, what is wrong with my brain? My brain is going Nancy Pelosi, and that is not what I'm trying to say.
What are you trying to say?
What?
Nancy Pelosi?
No, the NPR host.
Marcia.
Nancy Gross.
Oh,
thank
Nancy
you.
Gross.
That was my first instinct. That was my other first instinct.
Welcome to Fresh Air. I'm Nancy Pelosi. Oh my god.
That's really
funny.
Have you ever been a guest?
It. What?
Has she ever been a guest?
Nancy Gross?
Yeah. That collab needs to happen fast. Anyway, Micah, you were saying pretend.
So she was telling me to like pretend that I'm her when I'm
Terry
doing
Gross? What is her
interviews.
Name?
Terry Gross.
Terry Gross.
It's not Nancy Gross. Nancy Gross works for the Archie Green Fellowship.
Oh, Nancy Gross is a person.
Yeah, I was like, that's a real person who is a folklorist.
Terry Gross? Fresh Air? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. The name that came to my mind was Nancy Gross. I said, that's wrong. And instead of flipping the first name, I flipped the last names. Okay, we've gotten there.
Wow, that was like Micah, I feel like you have like reference dyslexia.
Yeah, that was some like Wheel of Fortune shit or something.
Yeah.
Like Nancy Gross Pelosi. Terry Gross Nancy.
That was a Wheel of Fortune answer.
Terry Gross, Nancy.
Oh my god.
Pelosi. Terry Gross.
Terry Gross Pelosi.
Marcia told me to pretend I was Terry Gross, and well, like I don't necessarily do that, but the idea of like find someone who you think of as like a really competent interviewer who like asks questions, doesn't interrupt people too much, and like try to like channel that as much as possible. I think that was like she's giving me a lot of good advice, but that was like a very, very early one. She also told me to go to grad school. She also told me to go to IU. So like those are all good bits of just like general life advice too. Yeah. John has also given me plenty of good advice. Another like pretty early one was to not try to write prose like Henry Glassy, because he knew that I was a material culture person and Pravino is my advisor, and he was just like, people sometimes try to be super flowery in the way that they write about material culture and they miss the mark. So don't attempt to do that. Like find your own way of communicating, and that might be also flowery and it might be also kind of poetic, but like don't try to emulate someone else's like prose style.
Yeah.
You can emulate their formal descriptions or their like methodology, but like your writing voice should be your own. And I think that was also really good. Neither one of those are like public folklore specific pieces of advice, but they are just like, that's kind of who those people are to me as mentors, is like very round life and school and work mentors. So
I don't think we needed it to be public folklore, and actually I think you might have given us better answers that they gave you like general advice. That's good.
Yeah.
Yes, chat. You absolutely all guessed who my competent interviewer I imagine myself as. Thank you, everyone in chat. I don't know if you
who is it,
Micah. It's Sean Evans from Hot Ones.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Perfect.
That's
You don't need to thicken your Midwest accent a little bit, I think.
Oh my god, yeah. Where's he from? Like Evanston? Oh no, he's from like Peoria or something. Yeah, Carbondale.
Yeah.
Carbondale.
You just said Evanston because of Evans.
Oh,
We're
I don't
having
think
name
so.
issues tonight.
Oh, I thought he maybe went to
Oh yeah,
Northwestern.
Sean Evanston.
Sean Evanston. No, Sean Bloomington Normal, of course. I know where he's from. Um,
So good.
I think we gotta get in this next question here, Micah, and that is the cello.
Yeah.
That's it? No. Why did you choose to pick up the cello? Why are you still
cello
playing it?
question
Why is the cello right for you?
Well, I started playing it when I was age 7. Because I wanted to do orchestra because all of my friends were in orchestra was during recess at my school, and it started in 2nd grade. And all of my friends were in orchestra, so it was my choices were either be alone at recess, nightmare, or
It was.
maybe I should join them.
Oh, where all your friends
And my
are.
mother did not. Yeah, go where the
I'm
friends
shocked that you
are.
were forced to choose between music and recess. I'm
I'm
sad.
And
upset
loneliness.
you didn't have
A little
Pokemon friends
sad.
like me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could have just like made some new friends, but no. So my mom was like, I do not want to listen to a 7-year-old learn to play violin or viola.
Okay,
which is fair.
honestly
Our house
that's
is
fair.
like
Honestly, that's
we
fair.
lived in a house that was like under 900 square feet
Oh,
with 3,
God.
my brother, my mom, and I. So like fair, no basement. So it was either bass or cello, and cello was slightly smaller. So I went with that. And yeah, I think I've stuck with it because I love how it sounds. I like the reaction that people have when when you say you play cello. No one's ever like, ugh. Like if you're like, oh, no one like makes jokes. If you're like, I play trombone, people are like, wah, wah. You know what? Like
Yeah,
I love
true.
trombone, but you know, people might are like, I play tuba. People might like kind of giggle or
I
something.
play banjo and they just take it out of your hands and throw it
I
somewhere.
mean, correct. I did pick up the
feel like-
banjo in the last decade, and that
You don't have to admit to that.
so now I know. Now I know how it feels.
Oh,
But
what
yeah,
size?
I think
Chat wants to know what size it was.
I want to say it was probably a half size when I
Okay.
started.
That's cute.
I was
Yeah.
a pretty tall kid. So I'm quite tall now. I don't
The
know if
cello
there are people that don't know me.
It's just such a beautiful instrument, and I feel like it's one of the more recognizable string instruments. Like violin is kind of like the archetypical one.
Sure.
You're an
Well, I guess they're
string
all.
instrument, Daisy.
Well, I don't know. The viola, I think, is a good
Oh,
contender.
that's true. Yeah,
It exists.
I think viola is the sleeper.
But like bases across so many genres, cello seems to be across less genres, but is also such like a rich sound. Like it's the perfect complement to, I guess, to a violin in the orchestra, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a little funny because I don't play classical music anymore. Like I haven't played classically since high school.
Right.
I never had private lessons in classical music, and I learn most things by ear in these other genres now. So there are some times where I'm like, I wish I had just like switched to violin so I could be a fiddle player with more ease. Now because there is kind of like this instrument, like some people love it, some people are not really about it, or like there's certain ways that are more popular of playing it that come like out of music school traditions, which are fine, but they're not the way that I play it. So sometimes I run into like feelings of like assumptions of, oh, if you are playing in this jam, it will sound like this. And we're not sure we want that. Like no one has overtly said that to me, but that's like the subtext that I'm receiving. We don't know if we want that sound to be happening right now. Which is valid, but it's also not my approach. Like I kind of approach it like as like a low fiddle. Like that is kind of how I'm choosing to play it. So
Shirley You Can't Be in the chat says, did you ever play it like a guitar? Because apparently they saw somebody online do that.
Like sideways.
Yeah, like play a cello sideways, I think is what they mean.
I don't think I have I think I've done it like as a joke or like when there wasn't room for me to sit comfortably.
There's no way. I'm like, it's so.
Yeah, it's quite big.
Maybe it would.
You kind of have to play it like an electric bass, like sideways, and then like
yeah.
Yeah.
So So in your playing the cello like a large fiddle, like the biggest, like the big fiddle,
Yeah.
like what am I trying to say? What? How did you know that was going to like not just be like a part of like you and like your own personal like artistic expression, but also like lend itself well for like the music you want to make?
Mm. Um, you know, I think I think in some ways it's kind of like you work with what you got, like
Mm,
where it's like, let me see if this sound like if how can I adapt what I know how to do so that it fits within the styles that I want to play. Um, like instead of being like, I'm gonna just play classically over top of this other thing. It's like, who is in this circle? If it's in a folk trio, if it's
hmm
in an old time music scene, if it's Celtic, like who can I like this is like classic Libra, right? Like whose personality can I adopt? But like who can I emulate in this circle to make myself fit in a way that is unobtrusive and
mm,
blends and is not going to be on top of what's happening, but instead be like within. Um, so like I said, I do play a little bit of guitar and I have picked up banjo and stuff so that I have other options um to play, especially there's some like keys that if I'm playing for hours in that key, my body hurts, so I would much rather play a different instrument. Um, and that's like a more recent kind of admission to myself of like, I don't have to do this.
ah,
This hurts. My hand hurts when I do this. Um, so yeah, I think
no, it's
that's
good.
how I feel about that.
You play a support class.
Yeah,
Hell
Excellent.
yeah.
definitely.
Micah Ling on the cello, playing all the chips,
Yeah.
and, playing all the chips and slips.
Probably like Soda in
Mhm.
our chat wants to DM you at some point about whether or not you two attended fiddle camps at the same place when you were kids. It's very possible.
Another
Knowing,
Michigander.
Possible.
knowing I'm the Michiganer.
Also,
It's possible.
Yeah.
I think she said also, yeah, orc second grade. That because I don't think we had orc till like sixth grade at my school.
I went to a Christian private school that was very well funded. So I
Oh,
had
Grand Rapids, Michigan, huh?
art class. Yeah, Grand Rapids,
Okay,
Michigan, go
okay,
Yeah.
figure.
it scans, it
Um,
scans.
yeah, I was the like weird scholarship kid in the very fancy school that, I've said this, I probably told you this before,
You told
like
me
Betsy
this.
DeVos's children went
I
to,
haven't
and
heard.
like Meyer grocery store granddaughter, like all these kinds of
Oh yes, the granddaughter of Meyer. I forgot. I
What?
remembered Betsy
yeah,
DeVos's kids, but I forgot the Meyer heiress,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
the Paris Hilton of
yeah.
Meyer.
It was a wild place. It was a wild place to be a poor kid, but
What's
it
Paris
it
Hilton
turned
Wow.
for
out okay.
Meyer? Uh, like Amsterdam Meyer.
Yeah, what?
Wouldn't be Paris. It would be the Leiden Meyer.
Belgium,
Right.
the capital of Europe.
I do miss Meyer. I do chat ladders in the chat for Meyer if you know.
Yep. Or if you're really
If you
from
know,
here,
you know.
Myers.
Myers. Yeah.
Myers. Oh my god.
Myers.
I said Kroger's the other day, and I was called out for it, but I'm also
Why?
pretty sure that's just how it's said.
That's how it's said. That's
Yeah.
right. Kroger's.
Yeah.
The thing about Myers plural in Grand Rapids is like people actually know their like they know it's literally
Yeah,
They
like,
know
oh
right.
yeah,
They're
Myers
Yeah.
referring
store.
to the family,
Yeah.
not just the store.
They
Yeah.
know
It's
Rotterdam
so
Meyer who
weird.
Which
invented
is
it. Yeah.
funny. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, Kendall's grandpa's place. Ooh,
Just his house. Just his
It's
house.
just normal. Normal.
He's got
He lives
like a
here.
rotisserie chicken and a flat screen TV. It's like you could have either.
Oh my god.
Michael, last of the serious questions before we get truly goofy with it. But
Mm-hmm.
we got to shout this out whenever someone just aces the pre-interview survey. Happens like once or twice a year. And Micah Ling. I feel like I want to use your full name now that Chad is calling me Sean Evans. Micah Ling, you really aced it this week. And that is to say,
This camera,
that camera. No, in a sec. But You said that folklore is empathy training. It is understanding worldview, community life, and individual belonging through aesthetic expression. It's doing your best to understand the how and why of human connection. First of all, ladders for that definition alone, chat. And number two, okay,
was
so how
really
do you
good.
use folklore to understand the how and why of human connection in your everyday life?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah. What are some
Okay.
everyday ways that your empathy training has paid off and that you understand the how and why better?
Okay, this is a very niche one that I've been thinking about it a lot, which is estate sales. I go to estate sales very
Yeah.
regularly.
Me too. Same.
Um, like I love going to them
I just love
because
weird
I
stuff, but I love
so
the
much weird stuff.
micro
I'm a museum
community.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a museum person. I'm an ethnographer. Like there's so much to see and so much to think about. However, I do notice like not necessarily people I'm going with, but the people around me, like I'm listening carefully to the way that people are reacting to what they see around them. And I think that I think because of my understanding of like, yeah, human as like individual aesthetics and expressions and like community and culturally informed, choices being made in the home. I'm never walking through someone's house, especially if they're dead, because I don't want to be haunted. That's another reason to use
Hey.
it. I'm not like looking at stuff and being like, ew, like sick. Why is it so dusty in here? I can't believe like this is not worth that much. I can't believe they're charging that much. And like sometimes, yeah, they're charging a little much, but I'm like, no, like, yeah, we all have like expired cans of food in our cupboard sometimes, or like we all like have weird knickknacks that no one else would understand, or like inside, like maybe that was a present that was an inside joke from their aunt once, or like maybe, that was only used at holidays and you don't understand what holiday it was used for. So like that's a like very specific example, but I think that studying folklore and studying expressive culture helps me to kind of just like move through the world with a little bit um fewer like closed assumptions or
Mm.
something. Like I can have assumptions, but I also usually am holding like six at once instead of like, that's why that person did that. Cause I'm like, if I ask them, it's not going to be what I think, probably. It could be these six other things. And so I'm going to like, even like someone cutting me off in traffic or something, like, I don't know, wanting to get inside someone's worldview and be like, they had a shit day. Their wife is giving birth at a hospital. Like, this is their first time driving. Like, maybe they're not an English speaker and they don't understand what that traffic sign said in as they flew by. Like, there's so many reasons that a person could be reacting to you in a way that you don't like. And I think that that is another way that I like regularly am like, yeah, I'm glad that I have some like cultural understanding training.
Yeah. If
I think
everyone's
about
house is a museum,
yeah.
Yeah,
you're in a
mhm,
museum. Show some
obviously.
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
Also, so can I one
Yeah.
more thing, Daisy?
Yeah, go ahead.
If So Bad Desserts is still in chat, I once heard him say about traffic, we're all headed the same direction. Like what's there to complain about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was you just made me think about like you can apply that kind of thinking outwards about other people, but you can also apply it to yourself, like knowing that the emotions that you have or that the responses that you have to the environments are all also culturally conditioned and
Damn.
like help you
Sure.
think. It can kind of help you say like it's okay for me to be angry right now because being angry is how I'm feeling. I'm not going to try to like like justify my anger in that moment because I have to feel it
Mhm.
first. I feel like there's a way to think about it folklorically like that, where you're like, I have many different reasons I could be feeling this feeling. Let's not worry about that now and just feel it. I don't know. I've been
Right.
thinking about that where you can like kind of flip it onto yourself too and give yourself like empathy and space as much as you do for other people all the time.
Damn, I
You
did
know?
do
Yeah,
that a
that's a good
lot, but I
point.
just thought I was growing up. I didn't realize
Well,
folklore had a part
Thought it
a
was
part to that.
therapy, but it was
it
actually
was
folklore.
Yeah, imagine that.
yeah, but it's true. I mean, well, that's the special part about folklore is that it's because it's about everyday lived experience. You're also a person having a lived experience that
Mhm.
is part of that
Totally.
Wow,
cycle of analysis.
thought it was
Yeah.
cognitive behavioral therapy, but it just turns out it was the purple prose of Henry
Sorry, not
Glassy.
sorry.
Did you just become a therapy stand for the one I arbitrarily pulled out of my ass?
Oh my god.
What a Daisy thing to do. Anyway. Mikey, you want to move to the fun ones?
Sure.
Okay, speaking of human connection in everyday life, how are you doing this to yourself with your house on Instagram?
I go into dead people's houses and I buy their things, and then I put them in new assemblages around my own house.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I love my house. I love houses.
Link in chat to your house on Instagram.
Yeah, okay. I have a house Instagram. Let me frame it for you. The reason I started is twofold. I had several friends who were kind of like, who don't live here, who were like, I want to know what you're up to, and my phone is like always running out of storage or like getting near, and I was like, put it in the internet instead of just like sending texts of photos all the time. And then also I wanted to follow a lot of old house Instagram accounts, which is a thing. Or like DIY, like how do you reglaze your windows? And I wanted to follow like a lot of those and design accounts. And I was like, I don't want to not be able to see my friends' posts anymore. So thus the Instagram is born. And it's nice. It's nice, like kind of journally feeling activity for me to be like, what projects am I working on? What do I think about it? How do I feel in the first home that I've owned and like the first like land that I've had to steward. So yeah, I think I do think a lot about that, people coming into my house and like what they're receiving from me.
It's fun to share that online too, because most people don't share that curation of their space. Some people definitely do, but to like choose to make an Instagram for it, I think is a cool way of like more deeply engaging in the community aspect of your space.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm just like, of course, the material culture scholar would visually journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate journaling, so this is my way of doing that.
You're doing journaling.
I'm doing journaling, doing public journaling. Yeah, it's it's much nicer. It also helps me like be accountable to myself with my own goals for like projects I want to work on or like painting things I want to do, because it's like, you know, obviously you're like getting a little serotonin bursts every once in a while. And I've like met people who someone came to AFS last year who I met on Old House Instagram and was like, your research is totally folklore, you should come. And she presented.
Oh my god.
So,
and you were like,
you know,
wow, that's awesome.
Shout out Sarah.
Wait, can we follow?
Who's this? Her handle is Victorian Redux.
Okay.
She does stuff with historical foodways, and they do like a lot of historic preservation. She plays the bagpipes.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, love this.
I think her last name is Everson, I want to say.
No, you're just thinking like Sean Everson.
Yeah, oh right.
Yeah.
Victoria Redux?
Victorian. There might be an underscore in there. I can look. Yeah. But yeah, that has been a super, super fun and really inspiring thing, because there are a lot of people just like kind of hard scrabbling and making stuff out of their homes. And a lot of people are really transparent about like how they're able to do that, you know, like, oh, well, my husband works in tech and we live in the Midwest, but his job is based in California. So he's getting paid the like LA bucks to live in, you know, Evanston. And
whatever. The most expensive suburb of Chicago, right? Okay, just check it.
Yeah. I just had to say it for the sake of the joke.
Rule of threes.
They're living. Yeah. So, and I appreciate that aspect too. There's like a lot of people who are much less kind of like influencery or something, like much more just like, yeah, my garden looks like shit because it hasn't rained and I work full time and I'm like exhausted and burned out.
Yeah.
So that's a nice like balancing. I don't get in my head about having not done like the things I wanted to do in the yard or whatever. So yeah.
That's good. That's healthy.
Yeah.
Well, the next question was, why do you relate so much with owls? But I guess we already got there. in the first half of the show.
Sorry. That's probably my bad.
Oh no! Just no. Micah went for it unprompted.
It really kind
did
of
actually.
came up. Yeah,
it
it
just
really
came
did.
up unprompted.
I asked you.
Yeah,
I
actually,
started
you were
that.
like,
Yeah.
"Can I please talk about Owl?"
It's one of those questions that was so obvious. I'm like, oh, well, Micah's just gonna
Okay,
get
well.
to it.
That's cute.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I
Maybe you can
I don't
add
like.
to it. Yeah.
I don't think of that as a thing I've talked about enough for you to have that be a question. That really makes me laugh.
No, it comes up enough.
Yes.
Well, here I've got another version of that question that you can also do.
Mm-hmm.
Can you assign a dog self to Daisy?
Oh,
I'll accept any and all
Dog
answers. None are personal.
self.
I will take any one you give me. Feel no pressure.
dang.
What's a dog self?
So, okay, I have another finsta.
Oh,
that-
wait, I'm sorry. What? Are you about to come out as a furry right now?
No,
No,
it's
not
called
that.
dog self.
Not that kind.
Oh,
I have another finsta.
oh, okay.
I've got a
Um,
sequence of increasingly dramatic finstas over here. Yeah, it's like Micah's a shingly and she like has a house persona, like an anthropomorphic house. And there's five! And there's five!
Oh my god, I'm crying. You got me with that one. Yes, Dog Selves is an account I started like many years ago when I had a conversation with a friend where we were just like talking about what kind of dogs our friends would be.
Oh my god.
And then as kind of a joke, I like made that and posted all of the ones that we had made. So there's like people that's like very niche.
It's like real people, but only
yeah, it's like
people.
my friends.
Lots
But
of
then
guests
there is a
from the
Hillary
show
Clinton.
are on there.
Yeah, there's some guests from the show. There's Hillary Clinton, I think, is the only famous person that's on there for some reason.
You say that like Kennedy Johnson is not famous. I've seen
yeah.
I've seen the views on her videos on the show.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I haven't posted it to it in a while. I actually lost access to it for a while because I couldn't find the password and it got all messed up. But I have it again.
It's self heart dog.
I also remember
Yeah.
you did not give me a dog sona because you said you were no animal but a black bear.
Oh, that tracks.
Yeah, and I'm like I'm with it.
Yeah, see, this is the key to it for me has been I have to find the image of the person
That is true.
first and then match it. So it's harder for me to do it like on the spot.
I'm definitely like wiggling far too human-like to translate as dog.
Band album or song wiggling
yeah,
far
but
too
like
human.
okay, this is the key. I can be like what length of hair does this person have? Like are they like super lanky limbed or are they like sturdier or like are they really happy-go-lucky or are they kind of anxious? Like these are the things I think about. And the Google search history for these will blow. Like someday I'll die and someone will like dig through my Google search history and it will just be like bemused curly dog. It will not be normal.
That's not normal.
Like uncertain shaggy dog wearing bow and hair. Like there's emotions.
I would love to see you do a dog self for Daisy. It's just a green bean.
Literally. I have an idea, but I'm not the one who dog selfs.
I'm feeling smaller dogs for you. I don't know why.
What is it? Everybody feels that way.
You've got pixie energy. You are Nephilim sized and you have pixie energy. I don't know what to tell you.
Remember when we went to get Ethiopian food in Lansing and you were like, I forgot you're tall.
Yes. I did. I totally did.
You're like,
Everyone
shit,
does.
wait, I am the tall one.
Yeah, like we're eye to eye. What?
You were, like, you were definitely.
Are you like 6
You're definitely taller than me, but
yeah,
it was still
I'm
funny.
5'10".
You're 5'10".
It was so funny.
Okay, Chad is saying Pomsky.
What?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Yorkie.
Oh, this dog does make a very compelling image. This image from our chat here. I'll share my screen to you, Micah, in the back
Yeah,
here for
please
like
do.
1 second. Or is that gonna freak all our cameras out?
Yeah.
I
No.
don't know.
No, Micah's full
Yeah.
screen.
Oh, yeah.
Micah's full screen.
Okay. Click mine. This is the picture chat.
Oh, that's pretty
posted.
good.
That's pretty
What
good.
is that? Like a what kind
See,
of, is that
it's
like
a little-
terrier?
It's like a something. It's like a
I'll put it on screen. I'll put it on
scrap. It's a scrapper. Yeah.
Yeah, what
I
I
don't know.
what I
Yeah.
need what I would need is like
Oh, I made it go away.
you holding a mushroom, and then I would like Google
Oh, I
like
think
much-
they've got images
small like
as you described.
small terrier with highlights holding mushroom looking content, and I would find it because I am good at it.
Oh, I definitely have made that face before.
Well,
oh my gosh.
It sounds like the more interesting part of this is just dog self search engine optimization.
Yeah, searching
Yeah.
optimization.
There was also a period of time where I was taking requests. So there's
Oh my
let me see,
God.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I should give you an
5,
image of
6,
me.
7.
Dog sound.
There's at
underneath me.
least 7
Folks
of
bring dog
these on this
selves back.
Instagram account who are people I've never met.
Oh,
who just
that's really
asked
funny.
me for
They just
them.
asked me for one.
And you were just like
Got you.
Borzoi who has seen way too much. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was
look.
like you have to Sorry. Yeah, it was like you had to send me a picture. And there was one person who I sent her back what I thought, and she wanted to like use it for her wedding invitation or something. And then she was like,
Too much
that one's
power.
not good enough.
It's too much power.
And she made me send her like 4 more. I mean, made me. I could have said
What?
no. But I was like
Why
very
are you
attached.
doing this? Why are you
I was very
DMing the
attached to
random
it.
people from
Oh.
the internet?
Yeah,
So-
like I wonder if I even have the
So
DMs.
two
still, 'cause
things,
it was
Micah.
so funny.
First, chat
Ugh.
is saying that reboot dog selves as a TikTok.
Oh yeah, it would.
That
It would do numbers.
Also,
True.
I also realized
If you did the
Borzoi-
green
I'm
screen with their
afraid.
if you
Also-
did the green screen like with their picture
There's-
and the person,
Wait,
yeah,
there's a Kennedy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
Kennedy
Kennedy
Johnson.
Johnson.
that's good.
That's very good.
Okay,
No,
I
Micah's a
mean-
genius.
that's really
I'm
Also,
good
I
at it.
realized Borzoi, who has seen too much, is just the comedian Chris Fleming.
It's
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's like a whippet who's seen too much.
Yeah.
It's a little smaller,
Oh,
a little
yeah.
more.
I had a whippet.
Yeah.
My friend Veronica was the whippet.
Oh,
go.
that's
oh my gosh, that's pretty good.
Damn.
It's the eyes. What'd you
I
search?
mean, I'm good.
Small anxious
good. You're
dog
so
with
good.
blue eyes.
Yeah. It might have been more like long necked. Like she has a very
Oh my
long
God.
neck. And
Oh.
I think I was like
Micah
long
just searched
necked
that
dog.
dog. You know the one, and it just comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Long
hit
neck
me.
dog,
and it's
please.
like, got you. I got you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm a Cocker Spaniel, just for reference.
And I am a
Aw.
North American black bear.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought
kind
maybe
of like the armored dog. Kind of like if dogs are cars, a black bear is a tank.
Oh my god,
Yes.
first
Yeah.
there's
Micah,
our Micah
come
does
back
the
on a
whole
third-
folkwise team.
Come back on
Will
a
you dog
Thursday and do
self
this
all
and
of the
do this
folklorists?
with
There we go.
everyone. Oh,
That's
very
good.
Micah, come back
That's
on a
pretty
Thursday
good.
and do this with various
Yeah, with
folklorists.
us.
Do
Yeah.
this live on a
Deal.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone will have to send me pictures. Like, have a
Yeah.
picture.
Oh,
of
we'll
Becca
exactly.
ready
curate.
to
We'll
send me
curate
and
the
I can do it.
photos. We'll curate the
Okay.
photos. It'll be fun.
Oh my
Deal.
god.
That sounds
Look at
really
chart
fun.
we made as dogs.
Yeah.
I can't
oh
believe
my
I just
god.
held my phone up to my camera. This is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It worked.
yeah, we're
Last question. Because I brought up this anecdote in the sleuthing session and no one believed it. So half of this is prove I didn't make up the story and then answer the question that applies to you.
Mm-hmm.
Micah, famously, your dad was in a band with a pre-famed John Osterberg before he was Iggy Pop, but you've probably met just as many colorful Michigan guys. Who are some of the most memorable Michigan guys you've met?
Slight correction. My partner's dad was.
Oh,
in
your
a band with
partner's
him.
dad. Okay.
That's what it was.
There it
Okay.
is, sleuths. It was too good to be true.
But it's I
Still
mean,
pretty
I'm gonna
good.
see him tomorrow. It's one step removed, but
I mean, it was
Um,
half a step.
yeah.
and I'll add to your anecdote to strengthen it for your own edification, which is that he was both in a band with him, and his band also gave him the nickname of
Yes,
Iggy
yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
because he was in a band called the Iguanas prior to being in the Prime Movers.
That's
So they
funny.
were like,
Iguana
whatever.
man.
Um, famous Michiganders.
No, colorful
This
Michiganders.
colorful. Okay, well, this is a small anecdote that I just recently remembered slash clarified, which is my dad often tells me a story of like being on some like blues man's lap at a festival when I was a baby, like bouncing on the knee of some like famous.
Oh
But I was
yes.
kind of like, yeah, okay, cool. And then he would someone posted about this person the other day, and my dad commented like, I remember like 10-month-old Micah or whatever, and it was Howard Armstrong, aka Louie Bluey, which is like, oh, okay,
What?
that's like not a random blues man.
Yeah, that's
No,
not.
no.
Yeah,
Like,
what?
not like
That's-
a random blues
that's like a
musician.
way
It's like,
bigger deal.
rural man
What?
with a guitar bounced Micah.
yeah,
No.
no. In fact, NEA Heritage Fellow Howard Armstrong.
Yeah.
So that obviously I don't remember that, but that is a pretty funny
That's funny.
detail. I mean, when you say colorful Michiganders, are you talking just like characters of my life, or people
Yes.
who people have names that people would know?
Oh,
Characters of your
life.
characters of
Characters
your
of
life,
my
for
life.
sure. I want to
More
know who
important
you
than
met
names
at
you'd
a.
know.
Yeah, I want to know like about the mystical person you met at a party or
I
something.
want to know not about the Iguana Man, but the Tuatara Man.
Oh,
This is one of my favorites who I was just thinking about yesterday. He lives nearby. His name is Paul Bennett, and he plays concertina and fiddle.
Oh,
He was a lineman for the telephone company, but also like maybe like a bare knuckle boxer. He's extremely gentle. He has navel tattoos on his forearms. He's maybe like 75. Um, he used to make giant barrels of sauerkraut outside, like at his house, and he would seal the
this
top
guy's
with
cool
a
as
garbage
hell.
bag full of sand.
what?
So it makes both an airtight
Oh, so it would be.
seal and it weights it down.
That guy's a genius.
This is exactly the right answer to this question.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently, like in the last 5 years, he had a stroke while mushroom hunting and passed out, woke back up, finished mushroom foraging, and then went home and then was like, I think something happened. He's fine.
I think something happened. Oh no.
Like,
Oh my god.
like I should probably maybe I should go to the hospital. I also ran into him in the graphic novel section of a bookstore with my brother, and he proceeded to he was trying to find a graphic novel about a famous serial killer, and I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was like Jeffrey Dahmer or something like that.
Yeah, it's like My Neighbor
And
Dahmer.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Well, I met him once." And then he
Shut the fuck
proceeded
up.
to tell me the absolute most banana story I've ever heard about like
There's no
I was
way.
working for the telephone company, and I used to like
What?
have to go into people's houses to like hook up
No.
their service, and like this house really sketched me out. He had all these dogs. He told me like you have to go if you have to go in the basement, don't go in that back room because the dogs always get into stuff. And he like peeked in the door, and there was a foot on the table. And so he made an
And he
excuse and
didn't
left.
You didn't
And
report it to
then
the
I think he
police?
called the police. And then when the police got there, it was empty. That's the story that I was told.
Oh
This is
my
a real
god.
like faux kind of
Yeah, this is
story.
a real
was gonna
buddy
say,
of mine.
that's
This is a real
very-
buddy of mine told me. Yeah.
Very fofy.
And I have this is being told to my brother and I in a bookstore, like in broad daylight. There's like children like reading, Richard Scarry books on the
Oh my
floor. And he's like,
God.
yeah, I saw this foot, and I thought maybe I should get out of here. Like,
Jeez.
so that's one really good character. There's a guy named Wild Bill who's a helicopter rescue person who makes ice cream, and plays the flute.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know.
You've met
There's
the
a lot
most
of I've got a
powerful
lot of
types of
characters.
guy. Yeah.
That's very powerful.
Yeah, I have a lot of,
yeah.
especially like men of a boomer generation. They're definitely
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
a fair handful of those in my world. Those are just two highlights. See me after class if you want more.
Those were
No,
incredible.
I don't know. Yeah, Paul Bennett.
Hell yeah.
Well,
All right.
Daisy, do you want to lead into our final activity with Micah? Thanks for it's going a little long on this interview just because we have so much to yammer on about, but hope you're ready to close this out.
Yeah.
I
Sorry for
am
chatting
ready.
forever.
Oh, nah. This is fun. We're having a good time.
Nah.
The final piece of any interview we do on Folkwise is that we play a game with our guests. We'll store like a parlor game, and usually that game consists of a tier list. Have you, Micah, ever made a tier list before?
No, not a tier list. I've made alignment charts.
You've made a 9-way
Oh,
alignment chart,
good.
perhaps.
Yes. So maybe we
need some before
maybe
we do
need
this
some
context.
Before we do the context.
Before we do this tier list, we need a little context about. You can see this, and Chad is seeing this too. About this this 9-way alignment grid.
Yes.
What can you say about this image that I went back at our messenger history to find?
So Dom and I made this in I think probably 2017.
Yeah.
At the lunch table at Traditional Arts Indiana, which was then housed in the Mathers Museum of World Cultures. And there were many other people there trying to peacefully eat their lunch, and we had drawn this with like a dying expo marker on the whiteboard, and had like lengthy discussions. And I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember like what our exact what the X and Y.
Oh,
like,
I think I can
logic
remember.
was.
I think I can remember.
I think one of them was like shape.
Yeah, it's
and then topping.
Shape and topping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's shape and topping. So like
Shape
lawful good being like New York pizza is a circle cut into triangles. So that is the lawful shape.
With standard toppings.
And standard toppings is the good is good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, and then everything on lawful is still a circle cut into triangles, but the toppings stray farther.
The toppings are wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get like California and or barbecue pizza, still pizza shaped, but the toppings are straying. And then like dessert pizza, we have strayed too far from God, but at least it's a circle cut into triangles.
Yeah.
Whereas you go across the top,
neutral evil was like it's uncooked, so the toppings are normal, but it's raw.
Yeah.
Right, because it's a fucking lunchable ass.
And chaotic evil was Japanese deep dish, which felt like cracking the egg on the universe.
Wow, that.
This is it.
It's
got like hard-boiled eggs in it.
I am looking at that now. I understand how that is just very that's very
shrimp and mayo.
Yeah, it's like pigs in a blanket, stuffed crust with seafood and eggs.
Yeah.
And it's also somehow from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
also wild, yeah.
So exactly. Wow. So like the neutrals are all basically pizza, but there's one thing off where it's not as like, Chicago chaotic good is all of the toppings in the wrong order. And this is all the toppings in the right order, but it's a square cut into squares. Thank you, Detroit.
Right.
No, I think chaotic good was barbecue. So it's things that go on pizza, but the sauce is wrong.
No, chaotic good was chaotic good was deep dish.
I'm sorry. No, sorry. Lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral's barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right shape
with
sense. All the these are not things that are pizza, but it's the right shape. Move over to true neutral, and it is almost the right ingredients because it is St. Louis pizza with the wrong cheese, and it is a circle, but it is cut into masonry tiles. Yeah. So it is cut, and it has
cracker crust.
Yeah, and it is cracker crust. So it is just winning on technicalities. Where you go over to calzone and chaotic neutral, and it is most of the right ingredients inside out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, this is good because I didn't think about it that deeply, but now when you explain that, I'm like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. The best
part was at the end of this conversation, because as you say, we were thinking about this deeply with like much discussion and maybe a little arguing. And John K leaned over to like one of the other people at the table and was like, the funny thing about it is they think this is real, which is my favorite quote from him.
I made that the description of your
the video
pizza alignment chart, the tier list.
It's funny they think any of this is real. Well, so you obviously are familiar with alignment charts, but perhaps not have made a tier list.
You can actually make any of these tier list alignment charts.
Yeah, you can make them into an alignment chart.
Yes, but we are getting spicier than that. We are having you rank this.
Yes.
Amazing.
On a scale
on
from
a
S to D. Go for it, Daisy.
Yeah, on a scale of S to D, S is like superior, super above
Okay.
A,
Above
and then
100%.
D is like dumpster fire, like down in the
Yeah.
dumps, terrible.
59
And
point
yeah,
5 rounded up.
yeah, exactly. And there have been precedents for above S and below D. So if that ever strikes you, also, but
Yes.
this is that alignment chart turned into a tier list, and they go vertically and horizontally.
Perfect.
So you can stack multiple in rows. You can go back and change them. Make this tier list
Okay.
yours of the types of pizza that were represented in the alignment chart.
The 9 archetypes of pizza,
Yes,
as it were.
the 9 archetypes of pizza.
So do you want to go in
Genius.
order of the tier list, or you just want to name some and put them places?
I'll name some to start, and then you
Yeah.
can.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I actually really like St. Louis style pizza,
Me too.
even though it's weird. I would maybe give that an A.
Nice.
Like, I've never had that and
Very
not
strong.
enjoyed it.
Right. I always
That's a good qualification.
I showed this to my friends from New York, and their only response was, "What the fuck is true neutral, and how can I get rid of it?" And I'm like,
Oh
"No,
my
you gotta
God.
try it. It's so great. It is.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know. It's like bruschetta or
Yeah.
something. Bruschetta.
Bruschetta.
Yeah.
Like, it's crunchy. It's cheese. It's warm.
I'd like to think it's like the only.
I like a processed cheese. I'm a Midwest kid with a mom who's born in the 50s.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
I like a Provel. It's doing whatever the hell it
Yeah.
wants. It's living its best life. Thank you, St. Louis Pizza.
Yeah, I would say that. I would put barbecue pizza at D.
Oh.
I kind of like
Strong
barbecue
opinion.
pizza. Wow.
I really don't like,
Yeah,
especially if
Daisy,
it's
you're from
chicken. I do
SoCal.
not like chicken on pizza.
I kind of like it though.
You're from Southern California, Daisy. All
That
I'm
means
saying.
nothing.
All I'm saying.
Means
You're from the
nothing.
land of overly complicated. It's the right shape, but like it's broccoli pesto and Romanesco or whatever.
Oh shit!
They
true.
invented
Yeah.
chaotic neutral or waffle neutral pizza where you're
Waffle
from.
neutral. Fuck, that's kind of true.
Yeah, it's especially because I don't like chicken on pizza. That's the main issue I have. And barbecue pizza almost always has chicken. And I also don't love onions on pizza.
Now, I love
So
onions and anchovies. One of my favorite pizzas when I was a despicable Midwestern Pepsi child.
no, I was like a Italian sausage, green pepper, black olives. That was like my standard
Good
childhood order.
That's like
Yeah.
that's like the kind of pizza on like the Fisher Price kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's very good.
totally. Maybe that's why. It's just like power of persuasion, power of suggestion. Like, oh no, I saw that sticker again. I better get it.
What's next and
The old
where's
pizza
where?
sticker. Okay. I might put deep dish at a C. Too soggy.
Too soggy.
I agree. It's
soggy.
too
It's too
too oily, too soggy.
This is what happens
Yeah.
when you inside outed the pizza.
Yeah.
Yep. I probably will put dessert pizza also at a C.
You put dessert pizza over barbecue?
Damn,
Yeah.
you really
Nice.
offended
I really
by
don't like
barbecue.
And is this
I put-
higher? Is this higher than deep dish? Or lower?
I like it less than I like deep dish.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's like it. Why is it such like an unsettlingly whimsical meal?
It is, and it's also the temperature. I don't want it to be
Yeah,
cold.
what?
Oh my god. Unsettlingly whimsical is how I feel when I watch that Timothy Chalamet Willy Wonka trailer, and I can see him eating dessert pizza.
Yeah, and he's probably like, "Oh, dessert pizza! I'm gonna just stare into the camera." Like,
or like the Johnny Depp Alice in Wonderland that had
Yeah.
like unnecessary like face CGI.
Oh, that's
was
dessert
that
pizza,
about?
the movie.
that was yeah, that movie's dessert pizza. It's the
I
shape
might
of
put
the
Lunchables.
movie. But...
I might put Lunchables at a B, guys.
At a B?
No.
Yeah, I might.
Oh.
The proportions are wrong.
okay.
The
Just
proportions
for
are
the
wrong, and it's
nostalgia.
raw.
I don't know.
Raw.
But I liked it when I was a kid, and I don't know. I haven't eaten it I
Do you
haven't eaten it as an adult, so it's hard to
We'll
say.
bring next
Do you think
conference we're at
part
tomorrow,
of-
or we're at together. I will bring you a Lunchables and put it to the test.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you think that advertisers like creating the Lunchable as a concept had a lot of discussions about the child's role in making their own meal?
This
Mm,
what
Because
this came
it
up in
does
a
make me
foodways
think
book I
about
read.
that.
Daisy, that is absolutely correct.
autonomy.
It's gotta be. They've
Yeah.
got to.
They
Because
said that, and then they also said they were going to make it like 5 times as salty as any other like lunch on the packet.
what?
That was the
Interesting.
the person who invented Lunchables was like, we'll get them on 2 fronts. Number one,
we're
make the
hooking
kid
'em.
feel like they're cooking, even though they are just assembling. And B,
Yes.
like literally do he
Number
like compared
one
it
and B.
he compared it to cocaine for salt, where it's like we're going to take a loss
We're gonna
on
make
how
it
we're gonna mark it down and take a loss on how how much we're losing
how
at
it
first.
tastes.
But I want to get the kids addicted to sodium.
Oh my god, that's so evil.
That's
They don't
wild.
even have to do the labor
Yeah,
assembling it.
No.
They're fucking tricking children.
tricking children into
The capitalist like tricking children into making their own goddamn food and selling
making
it for
their own addiction.
$6.
Give you the tools of your own demise
Yes,
and play with them.
B tier.
Everybody says cold sauce. Everybody's into cold sauce or they hate
Yeah.
cold sauce.
Yeah, the cold sauce.
I'm not into cold sauce.
I really loved the nacho ones. I do actually remember that, like legitimately really liking those,
I think I'm
which
having
are
an
so
aneurysm.
salty,
Yeah,
shockingly
True.
salty.
yeah.
Okay, what do we have left? We have like
New York,
normal
Detroit,
pizza.
calzone, Japanese.
Oh, Detroit is S tier,
Yeah,
unquestionably.
let's go.
Yeah! Hell yeah.
That
Detroit
is my
pizza
favorite
versus everybody.
Pizza.
Oh my god.
If
This
if
really
deep dish
makes me
had
want
better
pizza.
texture,
Yes,
what's not
exactly.
to like about that?
Exactly.
Yep.
That is not even a Midwestern. Like I'm from the opposite side of the state. Like I don't have any sort of like state pride emotions. Like
allegiance,
yeah.
we're not talking conies and pasties here. We're talking
Yeah.
pizza, and
Detroit
I have
pizza.
to say Detroit. I fuck
Hell
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah, Jets in the chat, everyone. Buddies
Yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah. I might put calzone at an A.
Calzones are pretty good.
Is it
Yeah.
Sometimes
like,
I think they can get too greasy too, but
Yes.
for the most part,
yeah.
they're pretty solid.
That,
but
you
at
kinda
its
have
worst,
to
it's like
trephinate the
pasta or
calzone
something. You're like,
to get the
it's
grease
still
out.
good.
Yeah. Is it an A below St. Louis pizza?
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm thinking of like what would I rather eat?
Yeah, that's a good way to think
That's how
about
I'm
it.
thinking about this.
Yeah.
Damn.
I probably would put New York style also S tier, but after Detroit.
There it is.
There it is.
There it
Yeah.
is.
And then what
I
is
like 'em both.
what is the last one? Japanese deep dish?
I found this one. This one was like hot dog. I think it was like hot dogs in the crust with tuna and spicy mayo and corn.
Oh,
It's the most
tuna.
yellow dish.
Hot
most
tuna?
Yellow.
Hot tuna
Hot
pizza.
tuna.
Spicy.
I know
hot
that
mayo
like a
is
tuna
what-
melt is a thing, but
Hot mayo is what pisses me
tuna
off.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, this is very unrelated, but I had a really good would you rather that I got from someone at the Appalachian String Band Festival, which was would you
Mhm.
rather sweat mayonnaise or have shovels for hands?
Or have what for hand?
Shovels.
Oh, interesting.
Just chew on that for a second.
Fate worse
Shovel?
than death for both of them.
Yeah.
Shovels. Okay.
Like spades.
Ugh.
No difference. A spade, yes. A shovel, no. A spade seems way more
Okay.
manageable.
A shovel is what the word that was
Okay.
offered me. But I just can't.
Sorry to
So
be a
many people
pedant
have
about
said sweat
digging
mayonnaise
implements.
because they want to use their hands not in a shovel way, and I'm just like,
But your hands would have mayonnaise on them.
No one would sleep with
Your
you. Like no one
clothes
would.
would have
No one would
mayonnaise on
sleep
them.
next to you.
In
know what I
both
mean?
Yeah, mayonnaise
scenarios.
spoils.
Oh my god. Ugh. It's got to be shovel hands. Like I guess
How
I
many?
just
You would just like ruin sheets. That's all I'm thinking
you'd
about.
you'd ruin
You
everything.
Sleeping
just
becomes a
adapt. You
liability.
can adapt to shovel hands. You can't adapt.
You
What are you
can't
just gonna like wear an ice
a
suit?
360 suit. Yeah, you're just gonna wear like a suit all over your body.
Oh my god.
Just never go outside if it's like warmer than 50
Never get
degrees.
sick. Never get a fever. Never
Yeah.
exercise.
Can you imagine someone like taking care of you at your bedside and dabbing your forehead and it's just fucking mayonnaise?
Dabbing your forehead with a hamburger bun.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew.
Just like bacon, little BLT forehead. I'm gonna put Japanese deep dish with hot tuna at D, but in front of barbecue.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Worse than chaotic evil.
Yep. I have to say. I also really don't like ketchup, and like barbecue sauce can go a little ketchup-y.
Yeah,
And
if you're
so
doing it
that's,
wrong,
like, a
it
very
gets too
part of it,
ketchup-y,
yeah.
A firm standpoint. I'm happy with this list.
Hell yeah. Well, I
happy with
love
this
it.
list too.
It looks great. It looks great.
I just love that Detroit wins.
so
That is
balanced.
my secret opinion.
Yeah,
Top
no
three,
question.
Top
If
three:
you give me
Detroit,
the
New York,
option-
St. Louis. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah. Got calzone.
A calzone feels like a different animal. It's like a hand pie, and I'm not gonna say no to a hand pie, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty good. I'm trying to come up with a scale that does it justice.
Do it, Daisy. You got it?
Oh, I don't have it. I'm just trying to come up with one. Thinking like barbecue all the way at the end.
Yes.
There.
Oh, yes.
It's
Bubbly
sorta
Like
like-
Soda in chat says it's a beautiful, even distribution, and it hinges on
Hinges on
Lunchable.
Lunchables. That's it. Honestly, I think that's it. It all hinges on Lunchables.
but honestly, D or whatever, B is kind of like neutral. It's the neutral point in the
it's the one that
hinge, and
you
that's
will
how I
accept
feel
it.
about it.
It was
You'll accept
neutral
it,
evil.
but not be
It was
satisfied.
neutral evil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
neutral. It's neutral. It's not great, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's
Maybe
good.
I mean, I guess maybe I
Love it.
wouldn't rather have a Lunchable than a deep dish, but I don't know. Bad
You
deep
might.
dish is
You
really
might.
bad.
You can.
And
Yeah.
Lunchables
A
are bad
Lunchable
by default.
doesn't surprise you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lunchables can't get
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not gonna be like, oh man, this one was really saucy because that's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Blame
have only
yourself
yourself
for
to
your own fucked up
blame.
meal. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God. I really want to go to a restaurant that serves like not just all of these pizzas, but also like mixes up like, you know what I mean? Like we serve you
Yeah.
dessert pizza with like a shaker of Parmesan and a shaker of crushed
Oh
red
my
pepper,
God.
but also like a Lunchable
Yeah.
with like an aggressive giardiniera and like
my
lunch
God.
meat salad.
Oh my god.
I did have a fruit pizza in China that was fascinating.
Yeah.
It was
Passion fruit. or
it
something?
was no, it was two kinds of dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit.
The purple kind and the white kind.
Yeah.
Bananas and oranges.
And it was
That
baked.
just
And then
sounds like
cheese
a.
melted. Hot.
Wait, I'm sorry.
With cheese melted on top.
So is that
Well,
so
then,
is
okay, I
that
fuck
lawful
with cheese on top.
lawful
I fuck with
neutral or
cheese on
lawful
top.
evil?
It was triangles in a circle. Hot. with
Triangle
wrong
circle hot.
toppings.
Okay, so it was
Wrong. Whatever.
It was technically a lawful neutral good. No,
Yeah.
not neutral good. Lawful
Neutral.
neutral.
Yeah.
It was a barbecue
It wasn't
pizza.
bad.
It was a
It was
variant of
surprisingly
barbecue
fine.
pizza.
I don't
Barbecue
think it
variant.
had sauce.
That's
I don't think it had any sauce.
if
can't
I were gonna
remember.
put sauce on that, there's only two acceptable answers. I feel like some kind of
Uh-huh.
melted butter, like based sauce, or like just a caramel. The evolution.
Yeah, I was gonna
of
say
that.
like the churro
Yeah.
sauce is what I
I
wanted.
could see maybe some
maybe-
sort of like bechamel, like cream.
Yeah.
sauce.
Okay.
Not that was
Maybe
like garlicky,
but
but
cheese and chocolate, you'd have to get real specific about the cheese. I feel like.
yeah. And the funny thing about it was like we
Chutney.
all ate it and it was fine, and like I didn't dislike it. It was just like, hot bananas is not a thing you eat very often. But it was
Oh
in
my
a
God.
hotel, and they just kind of like brought it out, maybe because there were Americans who were eating it. And then the next night they also made pizza for us, but that one was like very like bolognese, like meat sauce with peppers and like it was and cheese, like a much more like classic topping. So I don't know if they heard us kind of being like, because we weren't like, oh my god, but it was kind of like, oh, what? That's bananas. Like
There's a warm
okay.
banana right there. Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I remember when I went to Scotland, they had like New York style pizza, and it had like ham, like deli
What?
ham and French
Deli
fries
ham?
on it. It was like there was like pepperoni, sausage, green
fries.
peppers, olives, ham, French fries.
It's like they went like continental breakfast, but not quite.
Totally.
Yeah, served
Farmer's
with orange
omelet
juice on tap.
pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
Dang. Well, I
the,
think this is our
the universe
the
hinges on
official.
Lunchables.
Yeah, the universe hinges on
Yeah.
Lunchables, and this is the formal end of your interview tonight, Micah. Thanks for hanging out with us.
thank
This
you
has
for
been
having
really
me. This
fun.
was delightful.
Micah, if
Yeah,
people
this
want to
has been
see,
super
learn,
fun.
or read, or hear more, where can they find more of what you do?
You can find I'm on Instagram, which is just my name with an underscore, Micah_Ling, and I have a Twitter, but I only use it during conferences, and I don't really
And
tweet.
who knows if we're still going
I
to be
just
doing that by the next
lurk.
conference.
Yeah.
True enough.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my Instagram. My personal Instagram is kind of where I talk about academic and book and things like that too. Dissertation
Cool.
stuff,
Mhm.
or my old house Instagram if that's things that you're interested in.
Dog selves on TikTok.
Dog cells
Coming to TikTok
coming soon to a TikTok near you.
Oh my god. I dropped those links in the chat for our people, and as well as a podcast that you were on, Old Time Cello Folklore and Festival Dress.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Dropped a link to that too.
that
If
was
you
Get
want
up
to
in
hear
the
you talk
cool.
that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. This is your natural out if you
one
wanna
last
go to
thing.
sleep or do something. But what am I missing?
Chat, please. Ladders for Micah.
Oh, obviously. Yes,
Obviously,
GG's
she needs to see the
ladders. Yes. The formal official end of the interview as always.
There it is.
Yeah. You want to stay and play Katamari, or you can go get a normal amount of sleep.
I should probably go get a normal amount of sleep.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That makes sense.
we're only
Partners.
gonna play for another half hour, but yeah, makes sense.
My partner's folks are coming tomorrow, so I need to like throw
Oh,
some
yeah.
stuff in the laundry.
Oh
and
yeah.
these
You
kinds
must
of things.
prepare.
But
The from the anecdote.
from the anecdote, those folks, yeah, good on the memory though. That was pretty darn close.
Tried my hardest.
You did great. Who are my sleuths? Can I know?
Top secret.
No, we can do Chrissy Whitmire and Caitlin Kinney.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, buddies.